100 to 102 FM. Stand by. Century begins in 2 minutes.
Such a feeling's coming over me. There is wonder in most everything I see. Not a cloud in the sky, got the sun in my eyes, and I won't be surprised if it's a dream.
Good morning, this is John Morgan on Thursday the 1st of September. It's 7 a.m. and a star is born.
Love soft as an easy chair. Love fresh as the morning air. One love that is shared by two. I have found with you, like a rose under the April snow. I was always certain love would grow. Love ageless and evergreen, seldom seen by two. You and I will make each night a first, every day a beginning. Spirits rise and their dance is unrehearsed. They warm and excite us, 'cause we have the brightest love. Two lights that shine as one. Morning glory and midnight sun. Time we've learned to sail above. Time won't change the meaning of one love, ageless and
Barbara Streisand and A Star is Born. A very good morning to you. This is John Morgan and welcome to Century. It really does start today across the Northeast. We've got your favourite music, your favourite talk and some great star celebrities as well. Good morning. We're here 24 hours a day.
I need you, my heart's on fire. You come to me wild
broadcasting on 101.8 in the north and 100.7 in the south. This is Century News.
John Major says the IRA ceasefire is a realistic chance for peace. Teesside steelworkers fear the Euro invasion, and Century Radio hits the airwaves. It's 8 o'clock. I'm Katie Lampert. The IRA's indefinite ceasefire has come into effect. John Major says it marks a very great chance for peace, but he wants the terrorists to confirm the truce is permanent. Once that's established and there's been no violence for 3 months, he believes another step in the peace process can be taken.
At that point, we can begin to talk to Sinn Féin about how we bring them into the constitutional talks and many of the problems. And then, of course, the talks themselves have to proceed. So there's still quite a long way to go. We are beyond the beginning, but we're not yet in sight of the end.
Irish Premier Albert Reynolds says it's the end of 25 years of conflict, but the Reverend Ian Paisley doubts the IRA's commitment to peace.
They don't mention a permanent cessation of violence. It is a complete cessation. That could be for a day, that could be complete for a month, or for 3 months, but it's not a permanent cessation of violence.
Teesside steelworkers could lose their jobs if a deal between British Steel and companies in France and Germany gets the go-ahead. The BSC has been linked with French steelmaking giant Usinor and German's Manus Mann. But there's been a warning it could end up in a situation similar to the one facing Teesside DuPont staff. Century's Dave Goldring has more.
More than 600 jobs are going at DuPont at Wilton, despite promises when the company took over from ICI it had no plans to axe staff. Cleveland County Council was already warning British Steel to tread carefully after similar cross-Europe ventures ended up in redundancies for UK staff. It wants the company to include local authorities and trade unions in the discussion process before any decision is made. British Steel believes the deal will strengthen the European tubes market, a major employer on Teesside. If a deal was struck, it would still need approval from the European Union.
A North East man whose daughter was strangled and battered to death today takes to the streets of Newcastle to try and raise funds to help other families of murder victims. David Hines from Jarrow formed the North of England's Victim Association after his 23-year-old daughter Marie was murdered by her boyfriend, who was later jailed for life. Today, Mr Hines will carry out his own street collection, with all the money raised going towards the cost of professional counselling for other families whose loved ones have been murdered.
We still counsel people now on, in inverted commas, an amateurish basis, but it's only based on our experience of being victims of murder ourselves. And it doesn't just stop after the trial's over. It's before the trial, during the trial, and also after the trial. And every victim's case is different.
An RAF helicopter and Navy ship have been involved in a dramatic rescue off the northeast coast. The fishing vessel Homeland launched a mayday after it started taking in water 15 miles off Newbiggin in Northumberland. Lifeboats from Blythe and Amble were also rushed to the scene. Eventually, rescuers stemmed the flow of water onto the boat and it was towed into Blythe. No one was hurt. A Tyneside cabbie's recovering this morning after being held up and robbed at knife point by 2 passengers. The driver had picked up 2 women and 2 men in Whitley Bay just after midnight and took them to North Shields. The men robbed him after the women had been dropped off. Only a small amount of cash was stolen. It's official, Middlesbrough really is a breath of fresh air. A study just out reveals air quality in Middlesbrough was good or very good for 330 days from June 1993 to July 1994. It only registered as poor on 5 days. Dr Anthony Luke from the town's Environment Department says hopefully it'll help Middlesbrough away from its dirty image.
I think it's a case of really trying to teach, if you like, old dogs new tricks. It is very much something which is part of the history of the area of Middlesbrough, that it has been a centre of very heavy industry, and there has always been that, and it's kind of a legacy that people think, well, you know, obviously it's Middlesbrough's grossly polluted because of industry, but Middlesbrough has cleaner air than many other towns and cities in the UK.
Century Radio officially went on the air at 7 o'clock this morning. With studios in Gateshead and Middlesbrough, the new station will serve an area from Alnwick in the north to Ripon in the south. Among the goodwill messages was one from John Major. Century's managing director, John Myers, says the station is set to become part of the region's way of life.
Well, it's been a long wait, hasn't it? Something like 18 months we've been planning this, and we've managed to make it. We've spent £250,000 on the latest technology. makes us the most advanced studio anywhere in Europe, and it's worked. So as far as we're concerned, the investment has certainly worked in the technology. But we're proud to be here in the North East, and we really are going to be a North East station.
Britain's women athletics team will find out today if they're being pulled out of the World Cup final after the Diane Modal drug scandal. Century's Steve Cunningham has more.
The BAF is expected to confirm that the team won't take part in the three-day meeting, but top stars, including Sally Gunnell, could still run as part of a European select team. Following Modal's second positive drugs test, Gunnell says the full story now needs telling at appeal.
I'm probably sure that she's got a good reason, and we can, hopefully find what's involved in here.
British officials have few options today, but are being advised from all quarters to order a withdrawal for the good of the sport.
Kevin Keegan says teamwork is the secret of their 100% start to the season. Last night's 3-1 win at West Ham sent Newcastle United back to the top of the Premiership table. And Keegan says he's finding it hard to pick fault with his team.
What's been really nice for me is that every player's played well. There's not been a weak link in the side, and we haven't relied on any one or two players to score the goals. I mean, Andy's got 4, Rob Lee's got 4, Steve Watson's got 3. So we're sharing them out a bit more, which is always a good sign.
That's your Century News Update. It's 6 minutes past 8.
Northeast weather.
Thank you. Well, it's not a bad day across the northeast. The sun is shining here at Century, I don't mind telling you. Mind you, the sun always shines on the righteous. It isn't a bad day. Top temperature today. It's going to get up to around about 16 degrees centigrade, 61 Fahrenheit. And of course, don't forget, every hour of every day, you'll get a full weather update here on 100 to 102.
Century.
Morning Mush, Morgan's on.
For the first time in the Northeast, this is part 1 of the Golden Hour on Century. Thursday morning on the Golden Hour from Century, and a sign of the times, Mary Quant was given an OBE for her services to the export trade in this year. Miniskirts were allowed in at Ascot, can you believe it? And Cliff Richard was singing at a Billy Graham do in Earl's Court and telling 5,000 people how he became a Christian. But which year was it? Racking up the hits on Century, Dire Straits and Neil Diamond, Randy Van Warmer, Olivia Newton-John, Supertramp, Amy Stewart and Peaches and Herbs. Yeah, 1979. And would you look there, in the pile in the carpet, it's Tony Fisher. He's next.
Broadcasting on 101.8 in the north and 100.7 in the south. This is Century News.
The IRA is being called on to confirm its ceasefire. A woman's in hospital after smashing her car into a tree in Durham, and glasses are being raised in Durham today, but Century Radio won't be the only toast. It's 10 o'clock. I'm Simon O'Rourke. Good morning. Northern Ireland has woken up to its first morning of an IRA ceasefire. Thousands of people took to the streets of Belfast to mark the...
Century Radio.